Everybody's Chris over at Dixieland Farm, and I'm doing a Commonplace collection on Dire Straits, and just a fantastic lighting we have today, right? It's an overcast day, so it's just perfectly flat. And I'm going to be talking about a band, Dire Straits, here that I don't particularly like. Why are you doing a video? I don't know, because I've got this small collection of Dire Straits. And the reason why, I guess my issue with Dire Straits is there's nothing wrong with Dire Straits, right? It's the good band, and really it's Mark Knopfler, right? That's what you're listening to Dire Straits for. One of the greatest guitarists of all time, but I think there's a difference. His strive for perfection, his perfectionism, such an issue that his own brother left the band and hasn't talked to him in 40 plus years, so that gives you a kind of a clue how getting along with Mark Knopfler is. But there's the difference between playing with the head and playing with the heart, right? So I would infinitely prefer to listen to the Shags over Dire Straits. I mean, that's just a fact. Chris, your choice is listening to a Dire Straits album or listening to the Shags. I'm grabbing the Shags. Listening to the Ramones, I'm grabbing the Ramones. So that's kind of the thing of perfectionism. Perfect playing means nothing if it's missing passion, right? And I think that's what the real issue with Dire Straits is. It's that it's everything on paper, A+. Lyrics are good. Kind of a weirdo, low rent Bruce Springsteen, I guess, or a British Bruce Springsteen. And Bruce Springsteen is a low rent Bob Dylan, right? So you got Bob Dylan. Springsteen is a Dylan of the streets, and then your Knopfler is a UK equivalent of Springsteen, right? If you have issues with Dylan's voice, you probably have issues with Mark Knopfler's voice, or Springsteen's voice. It's probably the same issue. So just fantastic playing. That means it just doesn't grab me much. But there is an exception to that. So here's the first album, Dire Straits. Came out in, I think, 77. It says 78 here. Probably the UK version, 77, because they were in Vertigo in the UK, and they were in Warner Brothers here. It's got Sultans of Swing, which of course everybody knows Sultans of Swing. It's other than Sultans of Swing, I don't remember anything on this album, to be honest with you. It's a pretty cover. And again, Commonplace, you can find this record for under $10. Should you get it? I would say no. I would say probably people would suggest making movies, which it's got the annoying. So here is the opening, right? But then it's written down this way. So do you file it this way? Well, then your spine would be wrong. OCD record. A record collector is OCD. That's just inherent, right? So, yeah, that's bothersome. Mo-Fi, I believe, released this at some point. So, I don't remember. Romeo and Juliet and Tunnel of Love, I guess, are the two songs on this album. And his brother's already gone. I guess he left during Communique, which I don't have. I think I did have it, and I'm like, I'm never listening to this. So I got rid of it. You can pick this up, usually dirt cheap. If you want a seal of approval, right? Well, Mo-Fi released it. This is the album that I think is their greatest album. This album, I think, is worthy of getting. Love Over Gold. You can find this album $3-5, no problem. On the back here, you can see their strive for perfectionism. So they're using a computer for a mixer, and then this album is all digital. Just getting that perfect sound. And Telegraph Road, the opener on this, has got just some of the greatest guitar soloing ever committed to tape or vinyl. The song is, about a town growing up, and then, kind of being a steel mill, and then it's economic decay, and then where the people are. So a very typical story, a la Bruce Springsteen, right? But the UK variant of it. Industrial Disease is charming, humorous wordplay. Private Investigations is a good song. It Never Rains is fair. It's fair, but it's good. Love Over Gold's a great song. So you got 5 songs, and 4 of them are good. Just like Marquee Moon is a guitarist album, Love Over Gold is a guitarist album. So despite, I guess, there's enough passion in here. This is just a audiophile album. So if you want to, like, not Asia rather, this is like number 2 of like a perfect audiophile album to test out your equipment, opposed to Steely Dan Asia. Grab it, and like I said, you can find this album dirt cheap. And then Brothers in Arms, which I think most of us in Gen X would know very well. One reason is because it wasn't all digital recording, DDD. So anytime you bought CDs back in the mid 80s, it said AAD, right? Analog recorded, analog mastered, and then digital. So occasionally you would find ADD, but not very often. But to find DDD was amazing. So it said on the CD, like, all digital recording. It's got this awful pink on blue, so it's really hard to have anything pop out. But of course, this has the big hit. This is the second song that they're known for. Maybe the most for my generation, which would be Money for Nothing, which the lyrics were not problematic back then. Oh, that's not true. They were problematic, but nobody thought anything of it. That's what we were doing in the 80s, so, basically Dynaflex here, but this album sounds fantastic. It's also got Walk of Life, which everyone knows, and everyone knows So Far Away. Everyone knows those 3 songs. And Your Latest Trick and Why Worry. So it's a real solid side 1. Man Across the River is okay. The Man Too Strong is okay. One World's okay. And then Brothers in Arms is a good song. So this is another fairly solid album. Looks like it's Robert Ludwig mastered this at Masterdisc. So here's the interesting debate, right? This is an audiophile album, but it was all digital recording. So if you get the vinyl, the Michael Fremer and you should fight this. They're just like, oh, it doesn't sound as good. It sounds fantastic. Friends in the Library, $2. So all the way from Florida, it showed up in North Carolina, and then I bought it for $2. Wonderful sounding album. I used to have Alchemy. I probably still do on cassette tape. So you have a band who is not who plays perfectly, but just they're not really known as a live band. So it's almost like the studio recordings, but it's missing some vitality, and the vocals are not as crisp. So I wouldn't suggest getting Alchemy. There's this other EP thing that's not great. Now, these are the 4 albums to get, and honestly, just these 2, I think, should be in every record collection. And you should be able to find these for nothing. I'm sure plenty of you love Dire Straits and are willing to jump in and tell me why I'm wrong on my opinion of how I feel about Dire Straits. Mark Knopfler did also the Local Hero soundtrack, and that's when he went kind of solo for a little bit and then went full solo. Still plays in concert. One of the greatest guitarists ever. I mean, that is not up for debate. Him playing live solo is more interesting than Dire Straits live. But the songs don't do anything for me. So that's one of the things about music, which I think is interesting, at least for me and my taste, is it doesn't matter how great you sound and how well you play. I'd rather listen to somebody who doesn't know how to play and have heart and passion. One reason why I'm a huge Daniel Johnston fan, or the Shags, or, things of that nature. I'll listen to outsider music way before I listen to Dire Straits. Mark Knopfler solo, I'm glad he's doing well. That's it. From Dixieland Farm, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.